Hey all, 95 Fathoms here, and welcome to the finale to my Gold Dream Team quest. I decided I wanted to record myself doing the red battle. I don't think it's going to be anything terribly fascinating, but I thought it would be a better way to send off the quest and give me a chance to give some closing thoughts and statistics and things like that on this quest, since it was quite an undertaking and I spent more than a year hunting all of these shinies and put a lot of work into it. So before we get started, I just wanted to quickly look at all of the members of my team. First, we have Aurelius, my shiny Meganium. Lutum, my shiny Quagsire. Sella, my shiny Ampharos, which, funny story, I nicknamed it that because that is the Latin word for chair. Because there was a time I was out with a group of my friends eating dinner, and somebody pulled out a chair and it made a squeaking noise of some variety, and one of my friends and I both looked at each other because we both thought it sounded exactly like a Mareep cry, and it was one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me. So I had to give some recognition to that. Then we have Vapos, my shiny Quillfish. Platima, my shiny Magcargo. And Wheelakia, my shiny Murkrow. And I did also trade over my shiny Sneasel, the final member of the quest, who I did nickname and everything. There's Antomnia, the shiny Sneasel. He's not getting a spot on my party because there's a reason I put together the team that I did. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to Sneasel before we head off to the red battle regardless. So I'm not gonna make you watch as I make my way up Mount Silver. It shouldn't take that long, but I'm just gonna make a quick cut here and I will see you at red. Alright, we are in the depths of Mount Silver in Red's chamber, and we are about ready to take him on. Now, as you might have noticed, my party is not extremely high leveled, but you can take on Red while being pretty underleveled in this game, and in Heart Gold and Silver for that matter, and I know from experience because for somebody who will encounter Pokemon tens of thousands of times, hoping that one of them comes up a different color, I have very little patience for grinding. So I have plenty of healing items ready if I need them. Hopefully I won't. Probably will, though. But I'm okay with that. I have no qualms about using healing items, especially if it's healing items over grinding for forever. And Gen 2 does not make it easy to grind. Here we are facing off against Red, which I still hold is a really cool concept. I feel like people are really jaded about it nowadays and think that, like, blah, 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 there's not much to Red, he's not that interesting, and there isn't that much to him, but there's something very cool about going back and fighting yourself from the last game. I think that's just very cool. I think it's a very cool idea. So Pikachu's got the quick attack off, but I think I should one-shot it with Earthquake because it's a Pikachu. It doesn't matter if it's level 81, it's still a Pikachu. And down it goes. Yep. Okay, next he's going to send out Venusaur, which nobody is shocked by. You know... yeah, I'm just gonna go for Magcargo. I don't think Magcargo is going to survive because a solid grass move is going to knock him out. But we're gonna see what damage we can do in the meantime, because I don't think anybody else is gonna be able to do enough damage to Venusaur to prevent getting a pretty nasty blow and taking a pretty nasty blow, and unfortunately, I really need my other potential options for other Pokemon on Red's team. I have Revives if I need them, but reviving is kind of a pain in the butt, so I prefer to avoid that. Yep, that's unfortunately it for Magcargo. But now we're going to go with Ampharos and use Fire Punch and see how that goes. Sunny Day. Alright, thank you for helping me out. Could have done that last time instead of using Solar Beam, but you know what? Whatever. Don't know if... Yep, that's enough to kill it. So, we're all good. You're all good. And now he's got Espeon. Which, fortunately, I have something of an answer to in the form of Murkrow. I feel like Espeon is usually one I struggle against quite a bit. Because I don't often use Dark types because there aren't that many of them in Gen 2. Or in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and the one, I mean, that you easily have access to in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And so I just don't end up using them. And without a Dark type, you don't have a great answer to it. But, for once I actually do have an answer to it. I'm sure there's some point where I have used a Dark type Pokemon in Gen 2 or Gen 4. Honestly, maybe not Gen 2. Maybe I've used an Umbreon at some point, but Umbreon isn't even that great of an answer either, because Umbreon is not a good attacker. Okay, so it's closer than I might have ideally wanted it to be, but Murkrow isn't that great of a Pokemon, so I'm pleased with knocking it out before it knocks me out. Alright, next is Blastoise, and... pretty sure Blastoise has Blizzard. And I don't really need Meganium for anything else, but we're going to try Ampharos Thunder Punch and see what happens. Ooh, it's switching to Rain Dance first. Shame I don't have Thunder. I was not expecting it to do that. I would say thank God it doesn't have Hail, but Hail doesn't exist in this gen, so... Okay, that might be a problem for Ampharos. That might be a problem. Rain boosted Surf from a Blastoise 20 levels higher. And she tanked it like a champ. Amazing. Alright, Ampharos was definitely the move there. Okay, Snorlax now. Alright, I have a plan in mind here. It might be a little hard to execute, but we're gonna see what happens. Okay, Reflect Roar Off. That's actually great. So I have Minimize on my Quillfish. So we're gonna be a little bit cheesy here and see if we can't. Okay, Amnesia. So we won't be using a special type move on you. Or a special move, not special type. Actually, I guess special type works, because everything is based off of types in this gen. I have +2 evasion. Why? Alright, we're gonna heal up. Hopefully it'll miss next turn. I think I'll use another Minimize, because clearly we do not have enough evasion yet. Dude. That's so annoying. I'm not gonna sit here and heal forever. So if it hits me again next turn, I'm just gonna use Sludge Bomb and go from there. That's insane. You know, I don't. What's the point of boosting your evasion? Maybe I'll land a poison on it, and we'll make some good progress. Okay, well, it missed Body Slam. I'm gonna try minimizing again. We're gonna see. It could knock me out, and then I just wasted my turn, but... yeah, okay. Well, I tried to do the cheesy strat, and it didn't work out. We're gonna go Meganium. Go for Meganium. We're gonna Body Slam. I could go Poison Powder and then get poison damage, whittling it down, but... oof, that's gonna be rough. Shoot, that did more than half. Alright, we're just gonna Body Slam again. thing is a monster with Body Slam. Just an absolute monster. Alright, Quagsire it is. We're gonna have a relatively limited pool of Pokemon left to take care of Charizard, but it is what it is. I probably could have handled this more gracefully, but it's hard to know exactly what's the right choice, especially when he's having annoying luck. Oops. Okay, no, I'm not trying to switch. I'm trying to switch bag slot. If need be, I can always sacrifice Murkrow and then heal up Ampharos. It's gonna knock me out if it hits again. And there's no reason it wouldn't hit. Okay, we're gonna try something. Oh wait, I outspeed. I forgot I outspeeded. I think that's it for Snorlax. Thank God. Thank God. Screw Snorlax. I was feeling pretty good about Snorlax, because I really thought I had a strategy set aside for it with Bullfish, but apparently Cheese did not feel like working out today. Red really said no to evasion strats. Oof. Oof. That might be the end of Quagsire. That might be the end. Yep. Okay. I mean, I would love to... I would love not to sack off Murkrow, but I don't have a lot of choices here, and even more so, I would love to finish Red off with Meganium, but let's be real, that's not happening. That is not happening. Because Meganium is not that good, and I'm underleveled as it is. I mean, I will die for Meganium, but people aren't wrong to consider Meganium not that great in battle. It's just that how good a Pokemon is in battle doesn't matter to me, ultimately, certainly in terms of if I'm going to use it or not. Alright. So we're in a little bit of a precarious spot because this is my last Pokemon, but as long as I land Thunder Punch here, maybe I'll have to land a second one. Nope, that's it. Red is defeated. Red is defeated. And I was underleveled as hell, and it does not matter. Oh, no, I don't want to use Thunder. No. Yep. I prefer Thunder Punch, and Red was defeated. And now we get some of the best credits music in all of Pokemon. I love these credits. I love this credit music. It's just... It is so intensely nostalgic for me. I still remember the first time I beat the Elite Four in Gold version. It just feels so cheerful and happy. Anyway, so with Red defeated, with Red out of the way, let me give a little bit of a review of what this quest entailed and what it ended up being like. So, all in all, throughout this Gold DTQ, I found 17 Shinies across the 7 Pokemon I was targeting. I feel like I did not enunciate that very well. Which, you know, as you can see, the Pokemon on screen, the ones I just battled with, plus Sneasel. I did a total of 112,412 encounters, which seems kind of like a lot, given how lucky I got on most of this quest. And that makes for an average of 6,612 encounters per Shiny. So, pretty well under odds. As I said, you know, I had pretty good luck. The reason it ended up taking as many encounters as it did probably was just because I phased so many times on Murkrow. But I really made up for it by not phasing much at all for Sneasel. So that was crazy. So the shortest hunt throughout this entire quest was 122 encounters for the Tangela that I phased on Sneasel with, which is, as I said in the video, I think that was like my 4th fastest hunt ever. So that was insane. The longest hunt was 22,440 encounters for the Bellsprout that I phased on technically Whooper with. I mean, it was Whooper or Mary, but Whooper was the one that I got closest after that Bellsprout. So that's the one I counted as a phase 4. But yeah, so all in all, this quest went pretty well. It took over a year. I officially started this quest in any capacity. Like, I have the start date written down as April 7th, 2022. As I said in Sneasel, I started the quest in earnest. July 11th, 2022 was when I really earnestly started this quest. And as I record this, it is August 28th, 2023. So it took a little over a year if you want to count the point at which I consider the real start of it. If you consider the point where I started SRing for Chikorita before I was really settled in and really was starting to work at it consistently, then that's earlier. But yeah, so all in all, this was a pretty lucky quest, and I feel really good about it. As I love Gen 2 a lot. I have nostalgia for most Pokemon games, and each one is in a different way. And Gen 2 has this really special kind of nostalgia to me, which is something I could say about all of them. But I do love Gen 2 a lot. I think Gen 2 and Heart Gold Soul Silver maybe get a little more attention than they perhaps deserve based on just having Kanto, and Kanto isn't that robust. But just because I think people ignore the flaws of Gen 2 more than they should doesn't mean that Gen 2 isn't really important to me. So I feel really good about doing this quest and finally doing something with this gold version cart again, because I really was so heartbroken after I lost my original save file, and I never worked up the motivation to play through it again. And now I've played through it, and I have the save file, I have a proper backup tool, so even when the battery dies, I'll still have it, and that's really cool. But I really hope you enjoyed this whole quest, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know how interesting this battle was. I think I would like to do this more with some of my quests just to give it more of a proper capstone, but I think others might be more interesting than me flailing against red while very underleveled. So we'll see if others are more interesting in the future. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy seeing this. And if you're somebody who thought you had to be much higher level to fight red, hopefully this let you know that you don't have to grind forever in Gen 2. And thank God, because grinding in Gen 2 is not fun because there's not a lot of options. But I will stop babbling, and I will just say take care and best of luck on all of your hunts, and I will see you in whatever my next quest is. Well, I mean, I know what I'm going to be working on next, but I will see you in the next, whatever the next shiny is, but I'm certainly not planning to slow down on my hunting anytime soon. So I will see you in my future shiny hunts.